Love X Revenge. Welcome to our channel. Here, you will discover impactful stories that move and inspire. Our narratives range from motivational achievements and personal triumphs to lasting love and strong friendships, touching moments of empathy, and tales of courage that demonstrate the transformative power of resilience. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated and not miss any of these stories. It began on a quiet autumn morning in a small coastal town where the waves carried stories older than the people who lived beside them. Emily Carter stood on the pier, watching the horizon as the cold wind pressed against her cheeks. She was 28, a schoolteacher with a gentle spirit, but behind her smile lived a history she rarely spoke about, one filled with heartbreak, betrayal, and the unexpected strength that emerges only when life pushes you into a corner. 5 years earlier, Emily had been engaged to her college sweetheart, Daniel. Their love had survived exams, long-distance internships, and financial struggles, but it could not survive Daniel's ambition. When he received a prestigious job offer in the capital, he chose the job over their relationship, leaving Emily with nothing but a ring on the table and a note, "Someday you'll thank me." She never did. Instead, she moved to the coastal town, hoping the sea breeze would carry away the pieces of her broken heart. Life moved slowly but peacefully. She built close friendships with her students, found comfort in routine, and convinced herself she didn't need love. But the universe has a way of testing every belief. Everything changed when her school announced that a new administrator would be joining the staff, a man known for turning failing institutions into thriving ones. Rumor said he was brilliant, wealthy, and intimidating. Emily didn't pay much attention to gossip, until the day he walked into the classroom. His name was Adrian Wells. Tall, composed, sharp gaze, a presence that quieted the room without effort. He was nothing like Daniel. Adrian looked like someone who had learned to fight the world and had won more battles than he lost. Yet there was something in his eyes, a flicker of loneliness or maybe regret, something only someone who had been hurt could recognize. Emily tried to keep her distance. But life likes to weave people together before they even realize it. Their first real conversation happened during a storm. The school lost power, students were panicking, and Emily stayed behind to calm them down. Adrian, drenched from running through the rain checking other classrooms, appeared in her doorway. She expected him to bark strict instructions, but instead he knelt beside a crying child, spoke softly, and eased the entire room with surprising tenderness. When the children were finally picked up, only the two of them remained. "You handled that well," Adrian said, brushing rain from his hair. "So did you," Emily replied. They stood in silence for a moment, two people with guarded hearts recognizing a familiar ache in each other. Over the next weeks, they grew closer. Adrian admired Emily's patience, her kindness, her quiet strength. Emily admired his discipline, his intelligence, and the way he softened only when he thought no one was watching. But the more she learned about him, the more she realized Adrian carried a heavy past too. He had built his success from nothing, an orphan raised by distant relatives, judged, underestimated, and often alone. Every achievement was the result of sleepless nights, sacrifice, and an inner fire that refused to die. Yet with all his power and authority, he had never experienced genuine love. One evening, after a long day of meetings and classes, Adrian found Emily sitting by the shore. He sat beside her without waiting for permission. "You avoid me," he said quietly. "I don't avoid you," she said, avoiding his eyes. "You do," he insisted. "And I want to understand why." Emily sighed. "Because caring for someone scares me. Because the last time I trusted someone, it broke me." Adrian looked at her for a long moment. "I've spent my whole life fighting battles alone. When I look at you, I feel safe." "It scares me too." The waves crashed against the rocks, echoing the confession neither of them expected to share. Their bond deepened, slowly, gently, like dawn pushing away the night. They weren't lovers yet, but the connection was undeniable, the kind that grows without permission, without force, without warning. But peace doesn't last long in stories tied to Love X Revenge. One afternoon, the past returned, literally. Daniel, now a successful corporate manager, arrived in town for a business project. When he saw Emily walking beside Adrian, laughing, confident, happier than she had ever been with him, jealousy pierced him like a blade. The woman he left behind, believing she couldn't live without him, had rebuilt herself, stronger, brighter, irreplaceable. Daniel approached her with a smile she recognized too well. "Emily, you look different." "I am different," she said simply. Adrian, standing beside her, instantly understood who Daniel was. The tension tightened like a rope between them. Daniel chuckled, trying to appear charming. "You know, I've been thinking a lot. About us. About what we had. Maybe it's not too late." "It is," Emily interrupted. "It's far too late." Daniel's smile faded. Emily had never spoken to him like that before. She was no longer the girl he walked away from. She was a woman who had found her voice. Adrian placed a hand gently on her back, not claiming her, but supporting her. Daniel noticed. "So this is who replaced me?" Daniel said bitterly. "No one replaced you," Emily said. "You left. And I grew." Daniel's face reddened with humiliation. The idea that Emily had found someone better, someone stronger, someone who valued her, was something his ego couldn't handle. Over the next days, Daniel tried everything. Gifts, messages, apologies, attempts to sabotage Adrian's decisions at the school. But Emily stayed firm, and Adrian stayed calm, refusing to let jealousy poison what they were building. Finally, Daniel confronted Adrian alone. "She was mine first," Daniel hissed. Adrian looked at him with icy steadiness. "She is not something to own." "What do you know about love?" Daniel snapped. "Enough to know she deserves someone who doesn't run when life gets hard." Daniel's jaw clenched. He realized he couldn't win, not because Adrian was richer or more powerful, but because Emily genuinely cared for him. Something Daniel had never earned. He left town the next morning, defeated by the very woman he once underestimated. Emily found Adrian standing by the window of his office later that day. She walked up beside him. "You didn't have to defend me," she said. "I didn't defend you," Adrian replied. "I defended what matters." Emily's heart fluttered. She turned to him slowly. "And what matters?" Adrian met her eyes without hesitation. "You." The confession was simple, but it carried the weight of two wounded hearts slowly learning to trust again. Emily stepped closer, placing her hand over his. "Then stay," she whispered. "I'm not going anywhere," he said. The sea outside shimmered under the fading sunlight, and for the first time in years, Emily felt whole. Not because a man chose her, but because she chose herself, and then allowed someone worthy to walk beside her. Their story was not one of instant love or dramatic confessions. It was the story of two souls shaped by pain, discovering that healing is possible when shared with someone who understands your silence as deeply as your words. Love X Revenge, where every story reminds you that the heart may break, but it always learns to rise again.